Man, how about us? We welcome you in to a deliciously, wonderfully, I wish I could say good weather outside. I was hoping to be able to say like 72 and breezy with a little plum spice on the horizon. But unfortunately, it is a humid and hot 90-degree weather here from your local down south state. And I am your co-host, Coach Trey. And joined with me is a collared shirt wearing
Oh yeah,
Russo. Big collar guy, huh?
keeping it professional today, dude. Keeping it professional.
The one thing I will say about the professionalism in this atmosphere is that we are absolutely don't button that top button now. Let that neck breathe. You hear me? It's a week zero college football edition of the Russo and Goodwin show. And we are incredibly excited to come here to you with episode 4. Week zero predictions, a little LSU practice buzz, and then some quarterback battles, which to be honest with you, I didn't really know that we were going to be going the quarterback battle route this early, but there's I say unfortunately, fortunately enough for us to be able to talk about. There's quite a bit, so there's a lot of meat on the bone, so to speak, to be able to talk about there. And I know that you and I have kind of talked about this off camera a little bit, but I mean, as it relates to week zero being here, man, does it feel right to you? Does it feel like we're here? Or does it still kind of feel weird?
No, it feels right. I think NFL preseason, the fantasy football stuff's also kind of helped uh, give us that feel that's back. So I don't like the fact that there's only 5 games, but I do at the same time because like you're gonna probably keen in on 2 or 3 of these games this weekend that you normally wouldn't. So it's exciting. We're here, dude. 2 more days.
We are, and it feels, and again, if you missed it, go check out the YouTube page for the Tuesday night live show that I did with catching up with Coach. That's a new
Good.
a new little
Mm-hmm.
little addition there. We got a couple of bits of content. I'm going to give you maybe some breakdowns, post game week, as well as Russo kind of giving you the betting angle just before the games come out. So we were I guess toying around with the idea of maybe obviously keeping it Thursday here, right, in the pre-dinner window, the 6:30 variety on Thursdays, possibly me on Monday or maybe Tuesday, just depends on what the week looks like for
Yeah.
me, and then for you Friday for
Friday
bets.
nights, I think we're gonna land on Russo after dark. I think we're gonna maybe do
Wait, don't
a
get me hot
little
and bothered.
a little 8 or 9 o'clock show, uh, really surrounded by the betting portion of things. I mean, as you probably noticed, Trey's very good with breaking down a lot of the film, the insider stuff with LSU, and just football in general. And I'm more of a stats slash betting dude. So I think if you didn't notice, Trey had a hell of a show Tuesday, or that
Yeah,
was
thanks,
Monday,
man.
right? Catching up with Coach,
Yeah, Monday.
and then so that's going to be a weekly content, and I'm going to bring you Russo After Dark on Fridays with betting, and then we'll have our show on Thursday, and then just a ton of content we're just going to try and push out there. Obviously, we had our new TikTok page out there. We'll start posting more on there. Had to post that hilarious clip from Trey with the huge pause on there. Quite a little bit of buzz from that on TikTok. But anyways, man, we're getting some content out there. It's time. Let's start with some breaking news, though. We didn't really have this in the cards until what, like an hour ago.
Literally,
Um, the
I didn't even
SEC,
finish my evening coffee yet.
yeah,
Like,
as you see below, the SEC is now changing to 9 conference opponents. So the structure is currently 8 with 4 non-conference. Starting in 2026, it will now be 9. Um, thoughts? What are your thoughts on
so
this, dude?
have we confirmed? I'm actually looking for this right now. And again, I hate to type while we're on this while we're live, guys, but this is a excuse me, this is a brand new rendition. So I'm kind of looking for some of the confirmations here. I had a couple of people in the streets that were texting me about the because again, I had a work meeting, a phone call before this happened. So I'm just now getting back into the wings with the notes. Is there a confirmation of scheduling a Power Four non out of conference opponent that I saw.
Not on the recent or like on the initial news.
Mhm.
Not denying it though,
Oh,
because
here it is. Here it is. The new SEC schedule format. Are y'all ready? So in 2026, each team will play 9 games with 3 permanent opponents. Each team's other 6 opponents will rotate among the league's 10 remaining schools. Each team will face every other SEC program at least once every 2 years, and every opponent home and away every 4 years. That's a big deal, by the way. And then each team, here we go, each team is required to play at least one Power 4 opponent or Notre Dame every year.
the or
So so my thoughts on this is good. Like there will be that's actually perfect timing. Perfect timing. Just insane will be 11-1 will be the new 12-0. Like it will be insane how loaded these schedules will be. Okay, thank you Imagine for that confirmation. I am here to tell you that this is a good thing. I do not think that the idea of going 15-16-0 or whatever the case is not what college football wants. They want to see, for whatever it's worth, the Sunday game model feed into this as it relates to getting more markets involved. Because the hope, if and they won't admit this, correct? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, stop me if I'm wrong. But this just in, they want Texas and Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia and LSU and the Auburns of the world and the A&Ms of the world to be involved in this going forward. But you can't let one league do one thing and the other league do the other. So here's my thoughts. I'm going to try to keep this brief. I think this is good. I think it makes going to football games matter again. I know the at-home viewing is, you would agree with this, the at-home viewing opportunity right now. You have several channels. TVs have never been better. You got AC at the house. It's hot. There's no parking. There's a lot of people that don't want to go to the football games. And so they're not going to sell out 110,000 seats every game. It's going to happen for, Penn State, Michigan, and Tennessee, Georgia, and LSU, Alabama, but you're not going to have, sold out for LSU and Middle Tennessee. I'm so sorry. It's not going to happen. So my thoughts are good. You're going to get rid of some of the crap games where the money just keeps flowing around the state. Alabama plays Troy, and then you've got like UTEP playing Texas A&M, and the money just keeps floating around in the Texases and then Alabamas, and LSU plays Southeastern, and you keep the money in Louisiana. Good for them for going to a more hard schedule. Pause. I will say that the other end of that is that the Big Ten has been flexing this, and this is not a Big Ten shot. You know me well enough to know how I bet that I do not discriminate as it relates to a conference. I just like the number for the number. The problem that I'm seeing is that the Big Ten is flexing that they already do this, but the strength of their conference is significantly lower after the second tier. So my question is, are you really going to tell me that in a year where Penn State plays Rutgers is the same as Alabama playing South Carolina? No, because obviously that is a historically regular football team. And now South Carolina has a Heisman hopeful. So it's what you're going to see. You want me to be honest with you? What you're going to see is if they do this and then expand the college playoff rules, you're going to then open up the discussion for four loss playoff teams.
I was going to say, going back to this comment, I don't even really think it's about the 11-1 and 12-0 conversation. I think it's more about the 3 and 4 loss teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I think those are your conversations, especially with the potential of another expansion looming. I think that's why they did it. I think that it's just so much more leverage for conversations deep in December and November for playoff seeding. I mean, 100%. I'm for it. I mean, I do agree. I think obviously there are some sad points.
I mean, despite that though, people are going to pay that money. People are going to pay the money to go see Michigan, Penn State.
Yeah, I think like the argument is like people like I mean I think Ben goes has season tickets, but like people who don't have season tickets, like some of our buddies, go to those cheap games, like those LA Tech or not LA Tech, like insert non-conference bad team here. Uh, Tickets are typically cheaper for those games. Demand's not as high, and you get more casual fans maybe towards those games, if that makes sense. So I get that, but at the same time, I think if you're looking big picture, what's going to be your goal? Making the playoffs. How do you make the playoffs? Now this could possibly afford you another loss, which is huge, especially like if you look at it for a year like this for LSU, huge. Because like if you beat Clemson, if you lose one game against Tuscaloosa, if you lose one game heading into Tuscaloosa, there's not as much pressure to win that game anymore. Like looking at like it's kind of going to be like an NFL schedule almost. Like there's look ahead games, but it's not do or die as much, and I think that's the big thing. You can maybe rest guys that need rest in certain spots. You don't have to like have guys going out and risk an injury just because it is a do or die game, and you're out of the playoffs if you lose two games. Lots of pros and cons. I think this will benefit the SEC in the long run, now, for sure.
And again, like as it relates to like I don't know, every other league that does this,
I think the
you're
ACC was the only team that hadn't had nine, but they're adopting it as well for next season. Like they were already adopting it starting 2019.
and
So I think
and and
every Power Four conference now has it starting next
and
year.
and and you will hear this point from me next week when we predict week 1 winners and losers and talk about, the competition. I'm I'm of the belief that you're not going to be able to make this conversation stand for too much longer with the ACC versus the Big 10 and the Big 12. The competition's not the same. Last year was a historically, disgustingly, laughably weak ACC. And you saw I mean, the one time that they have to come out that the ACC comes out to speak about this, you have a historically weak conference. So maybe bide your time a little bit better. Maybe wait for your Big Ten moment where you've got, back to back, national champions, and say, maybe you should get like us, because the SEC has kind of just been believing it and saying it for the longest of time. And the SEC has a down year. And that's not to cast dispersions on one conference, but the SEC had a down year last year. And you had three three-loss teams last year that absolutely nobody in the top four or 5, 6, 7, and 8 wanted to see make it into the playoffs. Didn't nobody want to see Alabama, Ole Miss, or South Carolina? I can assure you of that. Ask ask Clemson. Ask Clemson if they were feeling riding high going into that last week of the year playing South Carolina. Ask them if they would have wanted to play them again the following week. Go ahead, ask them after going 0-3 against the SEC. Like, now, granted, that has nothing to do with this year. And you will see when I make my ACC picks, you will see how I am not going to frame what happened, on a year-to-year basis. We take things at a 10,000-foot view for right now and what we know. And what we know is preseason. And the only thing we can go on, unfortunately, with the preseason is some of the things that have happened between last season and now. Not just looking at last season's results to predict this season, this season result. That's not reality. So again, this isn't the same conference to conference, and that's where you're going to get the pushback. And the SEC has been fighting this for the longest time and saying, why should we go to this? Why should we go to this whenever, Saban in his perfectly shined Sperry's and pleated khakis are winning every year? Whenever like Vanderbilt gets to be met with Alabama, so you're never going to be able to get them up off the mat until they finally do it last year with Diego Pavia. So my point is, what are you exactly supposed to say to the South Carolinas of the world who finally put together a 3-loss football team, and they still can't get into the college football playoff. Do you know what they're going to advocate for? Playoff expansion until the point where it gets to 32 teams, and then you just get to have everybody just gets to be involved. And we can have a discussion at a later date, maybe not tonight, on why that isn't good or why it is good, and why conference expansion is a playoff expansion is a necessity, or whether it's a hindrance. But I'm telling you now, it is coming. It is just a matter of how quickly they expand.
No.
And this decision today tells me that it's happening, because they are prepping you for giving you 32 team playoffs, because they are going to have the 4-team, because there's going to be a 4-loss team ranked in the top 25 at the end of the year. It's going to happen. Like, there's going to be a 4-loss team that is ranked in the top 25. And with 32, you will get that team in a playoff sense. And maybe they do come up and knock off a Florida State that wins the ACC one year. You could easily see a 4-loss Tennessee beat a 1 or 2-loss Florida State. However, you're never going to get everyone to play nice together in the sandbox. And that's all that I'm trying to say. It might have taken me 4 minutes to make the point, but everyone's always going to complain and point the finger at the other conference. It's always going to happen. Always. No matter, because guess what? 9 is not going to make the Big Ten shut up. It's not.
No,
or
yeah.
the ACC.
I don't know anything will.
No.
Let's predict our 3. I think we have a pretty good idea, right? Our annual opponents.
Are they locked in for 3?
That's what the rule is. Every school will have 3 annual opponents every year.
Did I say that?
I was from their tweet.
Oh, wait, there it is. Yeah. So we'll continue with the single game standing non-divisional structure. Okay. Each school, I didn't see this part. Each school will play 3 annual opponents focused on maintaining many traditional rivalries. Dear God. Okay.
So let's go with
each team
Alabama. Alabama's going to be 1.
Each team will face every other SEC program at least once. Okay. Alabama.
Florida. Why not? I mean, aren't they technically annual right now? LSU, Florida. I mean, Alabama, Florida, Ole Miss. It's tough. It's tough. Now A&M's a floater in there. Chat. Any predictions for you? For y'all watching? Because I think Bama's a lock for sure. I would like to say Florida's probably the second lock. I do not know who the third will be.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss isn't a far stretch.
Oh yeah, the boot. Yeah, battle for the boot. I mean, sheesh.
I think you will. I think you will see LSU, Alabama, but I have a hard time. Seeing. I mean.
No, yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
it caught me. I caught me
rivalries for sure. I think if we're maintaining that, you have to keep that, and you have to keep Bama. You're right. I think it's Florida, dude. Florida's the third team.
I'll go Arkansas. I'll go Arkansas, A&M, Alabama with the dark horse. The Louisiana Texas thing. I think the dark horse could be. I mean, Florida maybe for Alabama. Alabama meant more with Nick Saban, but it kind of feels like you're gonna have Alabama, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, and then who do you give the other one to for Alabama?
Damn, I didn't think about that. It's probably us, LSU.
Well, I guess it really won't matter all that much
until
this year.
next year. Yeah, we won't know until next year, obviously.
Right. So I mean, and again, and there again, if we're gonna have 4 different people calling plays for Auburn, I think Alabama would take Auburn right now. So.
Anyways, Jesus, that's crazy. Just to still think about.
I still have that note written down.
Before we go into LSU practice buzz, which I don't really know if there is any. I know you had mentioned they've got a scrimmage this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Anything from you that you've heard from the inside?
Well, I obviously don't have access to practice, but the phone gets to working when the media doesn't have access, and I will say that there's, I mean, all over social media, the talk is that they can't wait for the scrimmage on Saturday, and so I will say not really a whole lot of tea. I mean, nothing's really come out on the socials, and the different people that are talking have kind
Are
of
they
been saying the
scrimmaging each
same.
other?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, you're not. Yeah,
Not
it's
like cross.
white versus purple. But
Okay.
the talk here lately has been the last little bit of shakeup, which we went over on the offensive line. I think I think that I think that the problem is going to be that you really need to nail this down. And I think again, I think that the offensive line that we saw is going to be the offensive line that you see going forward in the first game of Clemson. However, you are going to see some other guys move and rotated into the game. I think at times to see who can implement the situation better. And I said this before, this is going to be whoever can run the football. Clemson had a hard time stopping the run, and LSU doesn't know how to do it great. So week versus week, but I mean, Clemson's going to dink and dunk you to death. So do you script a game plan like what you see with, what you expect to see from Clemson if you're LSU? In camp, you usually know what's coming. The script is out. Harold Perkins has been here for 4 years. He's been a freak show all camp. Harold also knows everything that's coming, and I'm not saying that's going to make him obviously not translate it to game time. I think that he's obviously translated his talents to game time. But when you do know it's coming, like from Garrett, from that's both ends. Like Perk knows what play is going to get run. He knows it's about to be a screen, and then Garrett also knows that you're running cover three. So if you're gonna play quarters or nickel or dime or silver dollar, it doesn't matter. Like he knows what you're running. So I think the scrimmage is going to be good, but the thing that you have to mitigate is how much do you actually show in that scrimmage, because they're allowing the media to go to that. And I can tell you who's not allowing the media to show anything, and his name is Dabo slides down the hill Sweeney. So Dabo's going to go down that. He's going to go down that big slide and sprint down the field, and no one's going to know what they're running. And I'm not saying that BK is going to put out, his first 10-play game script out in the scrimmage, but the topic of the entire freaking camp is this D line really doing it like that this year, or is this offensive line going to take some time to gel? And I think it's probably a mixture of the two. Outside of that, man, like you're really not hearing a whole lot out of the Walker Parks injury for Clemson is a big deal with him being on crutches. And what kind of irked me a little bit was the miffed response that Dabo gave to that. He'd be all right. And the response from the media member was, oh, all right. Like you could tell it was one of these. And like come on, dude, like you don't get access to the practice. That's all you're gonna give me is he'll be all right. Like, oh, that's kind of made me throw up a little bit. But again,
That Dabo, dude.
bro, like and look, he ain't got to tell you nothing. So and that's his prerogative. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, but but then don't turn around, because there's been some times where he's poke fun at the media, and all y'all do is want to say, like, he'll get an attitude with him. But bro, you don't give us anything to talk about. If I'm a Clemson media member, like I'll say what I want.
Yeah.
So it's just talking season, Russo. Like it is so far beyond time to just get to games, dog. I'm so ready.
Smoke screens and all.
Yeah.
Let's move on, dude.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
move on. Starting quarterbacks, dude. We had a lot of interesting battles won this week, which checks out going into a week out. Some notables that I include on there. Let's start with our former quarterback Ricky Collins losing.
That's insane.
Losing the battle at Syracuse.
That is insane. They brought him to media day.
Yeah.
They brought him to media day.
I think that's tough. That's tough. I mean, I really like Ricky. So, I mean, yeah, that's tough. I mean,
I was not ready for that.
There's no ill will. Like, you're pulling for the dude. Like, another former quarterback from LSU, Walker Howard, was named the starter for ULL.
And the sun came up.
And then we got true freshman Bear Bachmeyer from BYU. Interesting. After the quarterback controversy over there, which was more off the field related,
I'd
who
like
I believe is
to.
now at Tulane. So
I would like to. I would like to bring some attention to Bear Brockmeyer if I could. Is that okay? Can we do that for the
yeah,
chat? Can
go
we
ahead.
bring up? So this is gonna be Bear Brockmeyer, your starting quarterback for the BYU Fighting Cougs. I don't want to bring up this whole thing. I wish that I could
You got
just.
you got a problem with this true freshman dude?
I'm not sure how I feel about 47. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Here's what we're doing. Big, big bear guy.
Love the name.
We sharing here?
Yeah.
Can we all see?
Oh, is he wearing? Okay, that's what his jersey number is 47. Okay,
Bro,
I like
do
it.
you know how much moxie you've got to be to rep 47 from the QB spot? And you know what he looks like? He kind of looks like a all shucks type of kid, but he's from Cali. You know what I'm saying? So he's from Cali, so he's not gonna have like he looks like an all shucks kind of guy, but he's not. He's obviously like a
Yeah.
one of these. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean?
We'll see.
what was the dude? What was homeboy from was it not Sundance? What was the dude with the long hair from Remember the Titans? Oh, come on, dude.
Not a movie guy, bro.
Sunshine.
Oh yeah, Sunshine.
Sunshine. Remember the Titans. What number did he wear? Ronnie Bass. Come on now. Don't play with me. He was number 12. That's a QB number. 47. Thank you, T. Sunshine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, money. I mean, I don't know. Good for him.
And yeah, CJ Carr out of Notre Dame, Julian Sayin out of Ohio State were probably and Ty Simpson were the three big shouts from Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Bama. I mean, I think we figured Ty Simpson was going to be the guy at Bama. I didn't think there was a lot of shock in that.
Dude. Are we underselling? And I thought about this a long time. Are we underselling the Tennessee situation? Like, does Josh Heupel have your respect in order to have the benefit of the doubt to give them the wins without the assurance of starting QB? Because we're giving it to Georgia, right? With Kirby, like we're giving it with them and betting they're over. Do we do that with Heupel?
We'll find out this year, I think. I think he had a. I mean, he's always been good for the last several years, but this is going to be impressive for him. Like if he digs out of this situation.
It feels like, and it kind of feels like, as it relates to some of these games, man. Like, first of all, I can tell you right now that one of my plays for next week is going to just be I will take $5 of my own money and put it on the Baylor Bears just to have my say so. Like, my flag will be in line drawn in the sand. My flag will be put on the moon. Like, I'm standing there. I will not support. Like, if you're Hugh Freeze, your thing is play calling. So there's a lot of intricate, little things that we're going to see this year. And I kind of really want to see how this is going to end up turning out. But the one I want to really see, man, and I mean, I just want to see it. I just need to see it happen. I need to see a real, true underdog story. Like last year, we kind of wanted it to be Georgia Tech. And then they ruined it in the game against Georgia. I want to see like a team that nobody was talking about come out and just beat somebody's brains in
I mean, was
week one.
BYU not that last year?
It kind of felt like SMU a little bit.
Yeah, SMU was probably more of it. Oh, Indiana had to be the team up
Jesus
until the end.
Christ! Until they played a team that was, you know. Which again, dude, I'll shout out to Kerr Signetti. That's not to say he wouldn't go win games in the SEC or with a harder conference schedule, but that conference schedule, that strength of record, strength of schedule was pretty hard to pass up. That's why I didn't bet on him in that week.
Yeah. Anyways,
So like, what
let's
do you
uh
do?
let's segue to our closing curtain here.
Speaking of which,
Week 0 games. We listed the 3 big ones out of the 5 total for this week. We can start with Iowa State, Kansas State. Looks like the spread's about a field goal with Kansas State being the favorite. It's been between 3 and 3.5, and over under 49.5. Any and this game's in Dublin, so it's a neutral site game.
that's right.
Um, Thoughts here?
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I don't mind the Dublin game. I don't. I hate that the Sunday game does these games in like Germany and crap. But I do not mind the Dublin game. I don't know that I love that it's these teams. Like, how cool would that be for Notre Dame to go to Dublin and play somebody? You know what I mean? Like, how awesome would that be? But
Yeah,
at the same time, 50.5, I really don't know what I'm getting. 3.5 kind of feels me. I would. I mean, I don't really mind taking K State in the points if it were asked, but I think I probably feel a little bit more about the second game than the first one. I kind of feel like the under maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look into that one. I really didn't have a strong play on out of these three get we've highlighted that one. So
yeah,
give me the just give me the where is my boy going so I can put my money on him and we can either crash and burn or ride to glory together.
dude. Yeah, I mean, I'll have a more detailed breakdown on Reach Out the Dark tomorrow, but I mean, just in general, I think this game's going to be super close. I'm probably leaning Iowa State. Nothing's bet right now, but I mean, I think Iowa State performed very well against the spread last year,
Mm-hmm.
and Kansas State did not. I'm not saying these two teams are the same from last year. Uh, However, in a close game, neutral site
Mm-hmm.
with 3 and a hook, close teams, you almost have to take that. That's where I'm leaning. I'm going to do a little bit more digging into that, but that's where I'm leaning. And then over under is probably around the money. I mean, I see this game going under maybe like a 27-21, or it's going to be tight. So like, there's no edge that I have right now. I think for
Not at
maybe a
this
ladder,
point.
not at this point, but leaning Iowa State in the points.
You can
Um,
play it down and ladder it.
oh yeah, of course, the ladder. We do not discriminate on playing down on ladders. Uh, we'll talk about that more on tomorrow. I know you are more probably excited for this game than anything with Kansas taking on Fresno State. Speaking of new quarterbacks, a Hall of Famer's son is actually starting. I believe he's a Hall of Famer. I would be crazy if he's not. But Kurt Warner's son, I believe, it was named the quarterback for Fresno.
How fun is
Um,
that? Against Jalen
so
Daniels, who I love, by the way.
I think, like, if you look at this on paper without really digging into it, I think you're like, why is Kansas only like a 2 touchdown favorite? Like, Jalen Daniels is probably one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the league this year. But like, has he really? He's got to take a huge step. I mean, he's kind of in that Drew Allar situation where it's like big name, does a lot of the small things right, but like hasn't made that big step to where you can trust him. And this is a game where we'll see. I'm pretty sure they reloaded on their tools in the skill position, so like we'll see how they perform. That's a lot of points for me. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, it would not
Yeah.
shock me in the least if Kansas goes out there and boat races them. I am lost on this game. I'm leaning over right now,
Okay.
as it stands. I don't really trust. I mean, 50 seems a little bit low for this game. I especially if you're trying to cover all situations. If it's a boat race, they put up 40 points. I would expect Fresno to score some. If it's close, I'd imagine it'll be like somewhere in the high 20s each. So that's where I'm leaning right now. Nothing set in stone yet, though.
EJ, big EJ guy. But no, I mean, and then the last one on the docket is Stanford at Hawaii. I mean, dude, this game is fun just because I want to just see Andrew Luck on the sidelines, see
He's
if
a
he's got
GM. He's a GM
yeah,
now, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and and uh and maybe here in an episode, maybe even soon in my next catching up with Coach, we will have a discussion about the general manager spot in college football. I'm kind of doing a little bit of a piece on that.
He might open the
Um,
door for like
oh,
players.
dude,
I
oh,
mean, Andrew
dude,
Luck is not your tip. Like that dude is smart. Like
no.
it's unreal. Like it's
So
does it open the door? Probably not. But 'cause that dude's just special. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
and again, and it's at Hawaii 2.5, 50.5 over. I kind of feel like I may end up just taking playing the points down a little bit, taking Kansas, maybe playing the points down a little bit, and then taking the over in this game. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of defense played in Stanford and Hawaii, so I'll take the likely take a played down, watered down
I think
over on that and call it a day on week
I
0.
think that game's going to be close too. I the reason why the con of the week because these are like some close games and there's only a
Mm-hmm.
few of them. So like as a the gin, you have to kind of take these head on. Um, it's kind of like it's just a duty of yours. I think Stanford was 4-7-1 against the spread last season, and Hawaii was 7-5. I would think Frank Reich is now the starter or the coach for Stanford now.
Mm-hmm.
He was the Eagles offensive coordinator. Then he went to Indianapolis. Um, I mean, how much of a boost are you going to get from a NFL like coach going back to college? I mean, I feel like um, you should get a nice boost there. I think they have the Oregon State transfer at quarterback Ben Goldbrinson. Lots of interceptions last year though. 15 touchdowns to interceptions at Oregon State.
But we get to talk about it though, and that's what's exciting.
Tough game, dude. We'll have a final answer for that on tomorrow's show.
The fact that we're even talking about this is getting me all hot and bothered. Do you
I'm
understand?
excited, dude. The ladder challenge will be discussed tomorrow. We will indeed hopefully ride the ladder to the top and hopefully make somewhere along the lines of 5 figures. How dope would that be? Um,
Hot.
your units are your units. Start with whatever you want. We're gonna start probably with either 5 or 10 as our units, but I think we're more of a combined front. So do it however we want. We do not unit shame here. And otherwise, any last words for you, dude?
No, I mean, I'm excited that we obviously have college football this week. Super, super excited to just not only get through, but to this weekend. Watch these games. Let there be a little miniature game day. I know next week is going to be the Corso farewell tour. It's going to be a super emotional game, super emotional day. I know I'm 1 billion% gonna get all into my feels about it because that's going to be kind of a goodbye to what we knew, but a hello to what we're gonna know going forward. With college game day, and so a lot of kind of mixed emotions with that, but obviously the somber thought of him kind of stepping out of the spotlight, and but the positive news that we're getting back to the game that we love, man, and so we're here. It is here, and I know we say this every year, but the week 0 is just such a tease. Like it's such a tease because there's never any big thing on week 0, and it's literally here, and we have 1 week away until you got a full slate of college euphoria.
100%, dude. Well, that's gonna put a bow tie on this episode 4. Do not forget to like and subscribe.
Please,
Uh, like I said, we're having our individual content come out as well this week, starting on tomorrow with my show and Trey on Monday or Tuesdays. But man, let's have a good week. Tune in tomorrow. We'll hopefully get our betting card started off to a profitable way. Otherwise, hope everyone takes care, and we will talk to y'all later.